Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Lois and welcome back to Age of Engineering. In the last episode, we were hard at work getting, well, this. We have creative mode flight because we have the Angel Ring and we've unlocked the final age, which is the creative age. Now, obviously looking around at our base, one, it looks really cool. I actually really like how it looks. But we have a lot of work to do, and we're going to start working on getting various buildings kind of done. There's a lot that we need to do. We need to go back and do a lot of work with the Draconic Age and Draconic Evolution. And one of the big things with that is trying to get, one, a space to do that. And we might just do something there, or we might do something here. I don't know yet. I still haven't decided that yet. But the other thing is we need to set up a wither farm at some point, and that's going to be a pain. And I need to finish all the buildings, obviously. There's a lot of work to do. But I wanted to skip ahead to get flight because I wanted flight. I like creative mode flight. But yeah, so today, what we're going to work on, just to kind of recap a little bit, we had to make some stuff from Tech Reborn. Yes, Tech Reborn. And it was not the easiest thing. We finally got all the stuff done. Been working on bees. We got to do more stuff with bees. But we're going to have to rework this building at some point. I'll probably make these rubber trees a little bit nicer, have a little courtyard or something for them. I still need to move the nuclear reactor over here so we can have a lot of power going on. There's a lot of work to be done. But I don't feel like doing that. What we're going to be doing today is Mekanism. We're going to work with Mekanism, get some automation at least, maybe not up and running, but at least ready to start running, and just kind of figure out this building. We're going to need to do some automation type stuff, but then we're also going to need to do some mass production. There's a handful of items we're going to need, and the guide is probably the best way to see that. In the creative age. So if we want to get things like the creative energy cube, no, it's the quantum generator, no, creative capacitor bank. Creative capacitor banks is what we make. That is not really requiring much of anything, but then the creative fluid tank requires various fluids. None of these, I believe, are anything to do with Mekanism. But then if we want the creative vending upgrade, we're going to need the HDPE pellets, and the creative gas tank is going to require 5 gases that we're going to have to work towards, and it's going to take some time. We still have a lot of series to go, but we're starting to get there. I need to just kind of start working on each building, maybe spend an episode finishing a lot of this stuff, making decorations. I want to actually, complete the building aspect of this one too. We need to upgrade power. There's a lot of things that still need to be done. But one thing that is progressing pretty well, let's start here today, is bees. So currently, we have an unwary industrious hybrid. So we're getting close on the industrious bees, and we have a majestic imperial hybrid. We're getting close on imperials. So hopefully here soon we'll have both an imperial and an industrious bee purebred working, so that we can start getting scented paneling. And then we're also going to need to make short mead at some point as well. And something to kind of note of that is we're going to need 64 buckets of short mead, but we're going to need at least 3 sets. Yes, we're going to need at least 3 sets of those. So, yeah, we're going to need a lot of liquid. But granted, once we make 1 set, we can make infinite. So, it'll be a little bit easier from there. So the bees are coming along pretty well, but it's time to turn our attention to Mekanism. Mekanism, we have some really cool things to do. Mekanism is at least fairly easy once you get into the mod. It's not too terrible to like use. We just gotta kind of decide how we want this building set up. In fact, let's go get some more temple blocks just to make things a little bit nicer. So I can kind of see what we're working with. And I don't remember how to make temple blocks. I believe cyan and stone. And we have plenty of stone, so it's just the cyan that might be a little bit of a problem. Is it going to be a problem? Let's get like that much. I think that's going to be about a stack. Okay. And that was a weird lag spike. I almost never have lag spikes on this series, which is surprising. Anyways, let's go ahead and make these the... Nope. Misclick. I'm good at this game, I swear. Let's make the bricks. I do really like the temple bricks. They look really nice. And just set this up just a little bit so we can kind of at least see where like the door is going to be. So if we come into this room, we're going to need to have automation, and I like typically having automation up top. Something else, real quick, I want to mention. In the IC2 area, we have all of our machines up here, and then we have a couple more machines down here that are set up for like doing compressor stuff and all that. I don't know if we're actually going to use these or not. No, actually I do. These we're going to have to make duplicates of the machines just because of the nature of these guys. The cables don't like to intermix. But with Mekanism, we're probably only going to have one set of all the machines. And if my math is correct, we're going to need at least 6 interfaces. The reason being is Metaelectric Infuser, one of the important ones. One of the best ones. Do I not have... Hold up. I know I have a Metaelectric Infuser over here, right? Yeah, Infusing Factory. Right. So... Oh, okay, I wrote down the wrong thing. I wrote down infusing when I meant to write enriching. So the advanced infusing factory is really cool, but is there any way I can see the recipes off of this? No, I don't think so. The metallurgic infusers. There is a ton of recipes for this. And there's actually quite a few that we're going to want to use. And unfortunately, there's 2 in particular that are going to be a little bit of a pain. Otherwise, we could automate 4 machines with just 1 interface. The thing that's going to be a pain is iron ore with coal gives us enriched iron, or I guess I should say carbon. But iron ingots rather with redstone gives us enriched alloy. So we have to have 2 different networks for that. Networks in terms of interfaces. Otherwise, it will mess up. So we're also going to want one for the enrichment chamber, making all of the various compressed things. We're going to want one for the osmium compressor to make both the obsidian powder turned into the refined obsidian, so that we can make, for this one, what we need it for is primarily draconic cores. So that's pretty important. I don't think there's too much else we really need for. And then we can also make glowstone. We can also make glowstone ingots, and those will be useful for making what was it? The solar panels, the solar photovoltaic cells. So we're gonna need those, and there's a handful of things we're gonna probably need to get. It also makes teleportation cores, but I don't know that we're gonna be needing that many, unless we want to make a dislocator, which I will eventually want to make an advanced dislocator, but that will be we'll make one as we need it. We don't need to automate that. So that's 2, 3, 4. We're gonna need one for the crusher. That's 5. The crusher is going to be making primarily biofuel. But then we can also make silicon from that, so that's super useful. and then the energized smelter, which is what we're going to be using for all of our smelting operations. Just normal furnace type stuff. So that turns into 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to have the other machines. Now, the big thing with this is we're going to have these machines up top, and I think down below we're going to have the automation. So that's where our interfaces are going to be. So how do we want to do this room? If this is going to be where we come in, it's probably going to be best to be over here. We're also going to need to move our power somewhere, and then we're going to need a bunch of liquid stuff, and that's going to have us try to figure out where everything should go. I almost want to put the power in the basement and then have the power line go up. There is something we need to get. We have. Alright, cool. We have the configurator. This thing is super useful, by the way. So, yeah, I think power into the basement, we're going to get substrates, which we'll end up using later. And so biofuel plus substrate equals ethylene. And that is kind of the big thing. Water, hydrogen, and ethylene gives us what we want. So, yeah, I think for the time being, I think that's what we'll want to do. Now, I am a little concerned if we break this, we're going to lose all this ethylene. But that's fine. We can make more. But just to be sure, just be a little safe, can we get some pumpkins or something? Do we have many pumpkins? Okay, let's get a stack of pumpkins for the crusher. Because like I said, that's the other thing that this guy is going to need to be making. I don't know if we're going to use exclusively pumpkins or if we'll use other things. We could always use apples, actually. If we set up some storage buses for this, we could just use apples, and that would be just as good. So I think we'll end up doing that eventually, because I'll need to get the tree farm connected to the rest of the applied logistics system. That's going to take some time. Anyways, let's go ahead and start moving some things around. So I think what we're going to want to do is we're going to disconnect this completely and start setting up. The power needs to go downstairs, and we're going to put the machines over here. So oh man, let's go grab another chest. Wait, no, I should have one on me. No, of course not. Let's go grab another chest, and what we're going to do is kind of move things around so that it's a little bit nicer. And a lot of this stuff, eventually we will kind of move things. Let's put it outside. So we're just going to... This is going to store the blocks. And we will have storage in here, obviously, for later on. But for right now, we don't need it. So most of the stuff will go in here. Okay. So that will continue running until it's out of power. We need our buckets. And we're going to move this stuff downstairs. So I don't expect to need too much more power for most things. But that is also always a possibility. Just because Mekanism is one of those mods that the ethylene gas burner setup is incredibly powerful. So if we set that up, where are we going to want to put it? We kind of want to put it sort of in the middle. And we might have some more production stuff down here. I consider making this like a 2-story building, but I don't think that's going to be a good idea. I don't think that's going to be necessary, Because what we're going to want to do at some point, we're going to be needing to make these thermal evaporation things. I don't know what to call them, but chambers, towers, I think is what they're considered. We're going to need to make those, and they need to have access to sun. So we might do like a little courtyard type of thing, or we could just cut this building in like half and call it a day. We're also going to need to pump heavy water, and there's a lot of weird things we're going to have to do. But there's a lot of things that require solar activity to work, so that is something we'll have to keep in mind. I'm going to grab temple bricks so that we could get at least a little bit of walls in here. So most of the machines are going to be like right in here. Let's break a little bit of this. Yeah, so this is where we're going to have a lot of machines. I don't know that I want one in the corner, to be honest. So we'll just do that. And yeah, we're going to need what? 4. Let's just start placing these. 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to want, see, the enrichment chamber. I guess we could pick these up. Energized smelter, osmium compressor. So let's get these guys placed down. Smelter, fusing factory, osmium compressor. And then the crusher will be the last one. So there will be one more here that will need to be kind of taken care of. And so these will have the ME interfaces, and we'll get that all set up and all nice eventually. Right now it's not super important, but we don't want something like this, you know, some nice walls down here. And I'll probably replace these with similar things, just so it looks a little bit nicer. So if that's where that's going to be, I think our power, let's try to find about the center. What's this? Where's the center part? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right here. That is the halfway mark. So I think this is going to be the best place. We're going to basically just run a power cable straight up from here. So we'll want to get rid of that and replace it with a temple block. And yeah, these are I think we'll have the energy cell right there. That will actually work quite nicely. So if that's where we want the output, I guess we could put this stuff over here. But we're gonna have some weirdness because of the substrates. So the gas burning generator we're gonna put right here, and that is gonna be what outputs up here. Can we just wrench that so it's facing? There we go. And then, so that is going to need a pressurized tube to collect the ethylene from the PRC. So this needs water and hydrogen. And then the electrolytic separator. That is the wrong way. So hydrogen, let's just make sure hydrogen and water. And dump excess of the oxygen for now. So then all we'll need to do is get water into both of these. And unfortunately, just because of the way I did it, actually not unfortunately, we could just do this. How would this look? Actually, you know what? I don't want to do this. I changed my mind. So I considered putting the water, infinite water, into the floor, but I don't think we want to do that. One, the reservoirs don't look great here, because we'd see through, and I don't like that. So let's keep this kind of the same. And I guess we could just have the infinite water right over here. That was not how I wanted to place it. Alright, so let's get the infinite water filled up, and then we can always get more conduits. That's not too bad. That cow is probably going to be killed. I'll be honest. Oh my gosh. Please. There we go. There's one bucket. And this will be 2. Alright, so that is full of water. Perfect. So this does need to get power, which is going to be a little bit of an issue. Unless we put the thing there, break this one, and put a simple block there. And then this would be an output. No, I don't like that. We'll keep the temple block there. We'll make more. That doesn't matter. So yeah, these two machines do need power. We could have this power them as well. And that should work just fine. So that should be okay. And then the only thing left to do is to hook these guys back up to the water. And we're going to do this like so. Actually, let's just do it completely behind the scenes type of thing. Extract always active. Insert and insert. So these guys should be full of water. And once they kick off, it should be fine. Okay. So now we should be able to collect the rest of the stuff. And there's all that. So we'll put the basic energy storage right here. Side config input. Input on all sides, and then we're gonna put output on that side, I think. Oh man, I can never tell. Okay, it is that side. Perfect. I guess there's like the plug-in thing lights up. Anyways, from there we can actually let's do it on the top. And then we can go across like so. And get all of these guys powered. So clearly we're going to have to set up some automation for beneath. But the crusher will go here. And the position sawmill. And then any other machines that we kind of make will just kind of go in that line. Now we're going to have all of our interfaces down below. I will probably actually do this all off camera, just setting up all the automation for these. And I don't think we're actually going to need 6, because like the osmium compressor only needs like 2, but I'll just kind of go through all the recipes. So we'll leave these down here for now. And then something else we can do is one of them can feed this guy with the biofuel. And that will be nice. And it will produce plenty of ethylene. These are getting water. Perfect. So this all works. For the time being, I put a chest down here with biofuel. And then we'll also need to extract the lovely substrates down here as well. And we'll end up using those later. So all that kind of taken care of. Let's go ahead and grab these substrates. And we can start making some new things. And start looking towards other things that we're going to need. So we're going to need all these substrates. That is something that I should point out. The substrates are used to make the HDPE plastic. So if we look at substrates, we use another PRC to combine either water, well, we'll need liquid ethylene and oxygen to make HDPE pellets. And then that is something we might do down here as well. We'll kind of play that one by ear. But then from there, that makes, we can put that in the enrichment chamber, get the HDPE sheets, which we need for the creative item, the basic bin filled with HDPE pellets. I guess we just need the pellets, not anything else. So that is something we're going to need. Now, if we look at, let's go ahead and put some stuff away. And most of the stuff is things we're going to teach the system how to make. Nothing too like difficult with that. But I will get a lot of the like automation. Setting up the automation is going to be kind of boring outside of deciding this kind of stuff. So yeah, that should be fine. So let's take a look at the guide real quick, and we're going to need some creative gases to make the creative gas tank eventually. We'll need clean osmium slurry, which is a little bit of a pain. We're going to need osmium. So it's going to be the same kind of process of making. So if we look at osmium, dust, is it? No. Okay, how does this work? I don't remember. Chemical crystallization. So this clean osmium slurry. It's this whole long system that basically breaks down osmium ore. So osmium ore with sulfuric acid and a chemical dissolution chamber creates osmium slurry. You can use the osmium slurry in another thing to clean it. There's a whole list, and unfortunately JEI or NEI or whichever one, I think it's JEI in this one. Is it JEI? Yeah, it's JEI. It really doesn't like dealing with Mekanism, but we're going to need a list of machines that are going to process osmium ore into this clean osmium slurry. We'll worry about that another time. That's not too big of a deal. That's actually not too difficult either. It's part of Mekanism's 5x ore processing system. So you can basically take a single piece of ore and get 5 times the ore out of it. Not something I really care to do because there's not much point to. But it is kind of cool. So the other things we're going to need, hydrogen chloride. So hydrogen chloride, and it's going to be gases. So the hydrogen chloride gas is a chemical infuser with hydrogen and chlorine. And we're going to have to take each step. Chlorine, so this was probably be the gas, is electrolytic separator of brine. And to get brine, we need So gaseous brine, we can use a chemical oxidizer, or we can thermal controller water. Honestly, the salt might be the easier way. So to get a gaseous brine, and then I believe we can use that, yeah, in a rotary yeah, we can turn it into a liquid if we needed to. So that one's actually really easy. And salt is surprisingly easy to find. I don't know if we can find it that easily in this dimension, but I'm pretty sure we have some salt. Let's just double check that. Yeah, we have 400 salt, so that is also really easy. We're not going to worry about that one. Sodium, ethylene, which we're making ethylene already, and DT fuel. So the DT fuel is like the hard one. But let's see sodium. And this would be the gaseous, not the liquid. That's chlorine. We can separate brine. So make a lot of brine. Now we can also make brine. The liquid brine we're going to be making with the thermal evaporation controller. Now these guys are... Ooh, interesting. Stainless steel and brass plates around a block of copper. That's not too bad. And we're going to need these because the DT fuel, that's where this comes into play. So we're going to need tritium and deuterium. Well, how do you get those? Well, tritium is made from a solar neutron activator with lithium. Lithium is made from a chemical oxidizer with lithium dust of some sort, or Mekanism's lithium dust, which is just as bad, or we can get liquid lithium from a thermal evaporation controller with brine. Now, we've seen this lithium before. This lithium is annoying to get. It takes so much nether quartz. We're gonna make the evaporation controller for that. We might feed it liquid brine. I don't know about that. We might make, typically you make two of these, one to make the brine, one to make brine, one to make the lithium, and then using the lithium in the solar neutron activator to get tritium. Deuterium is a little bit easier to get, if I can type it. Deuterium is made from heavy water and electrolytic separator. Heavy water we get from a fluid pump, an electric pump, with a filter. So that's not too hard. Filter upgrade, which gives us heavy water rather than normal water. So let's go ahead and start getting some of this stuff together. And I think what we want to do today is make the thermal evaporation controller. And these things can be fairly large, and I think, yeah, we're going to need some valves. We're going to need 2 valves. But this might be something we want to teach the system how to make. So, to begin with, the thermal evaporation, we're going to need brass and stainless steel. So let's go ahead and get a stainless steel plate. We're going to need to get more stainless steel, but we can craft that. And then brass. So to make brass, we need base metals, brass blend. It is zinc. It's zinc and copper. It'd be nice if there was an easier way to get this stuff. Is there any other? Nope. Not at all. Okay, so zinc. Uh-oh. We don't have zinc. So can we get... How can we get zinc? Zinc dust comes from sphalerite. Or we can crush zinc ore. It looks like sphalerite is going to be the best. And we have some sphalerite dust. In fact, we have a lot of sphalerite dust. So let's get some zinc. And what was it? That was the electrolyzer, which is right here. This is actually going to be pretty nice, other than it's not going to be able to go anywhere. So we can only get a couple stacks at a time. But that's fine. That's fine. We can take the zinc dust, and then we might as well make the copper dust. So copper. Can we make... Okay, let's get this a little bit easier. We're not going to worry about that right now. Brass. The brass blend requires copper dust. So you know what? Let's just grab like 2 stacks of copper. Actually, no. This is going to be super duper slow. Sure, why not? Anyways, we're going to get a little bit of this. We'll do it mostly manually. It's actually not too bad, all things considered. And then brass into brass plates. Shouldn't be too hard. In fact, we should have... it's so weird. We should be able to... go ahead and automate that just because it should have room. So brass, let's get one of these, 1 brass into that. Tell the system evidently we don't have enough things currently. Wait, that's the actual thing. Take the bronze out for now. I'll just have to put that back in later. So then we should be able to get this to make the thermal evaporation blocks. And I'll need to figure out how many of those we're actually going to need. But honestly, that's not going to be too bad. Now, what is the other stuff in this that is going to be nasty? Let's go ahead and place this back in here. Okay, so what else do we need for the controller? We're going to need a couple controllers. So we're going to need, let's see, 4 advanced circuits. So we need some basic control circuits. That was osmium. Something else that I'm going to have to do is get all these guys set up so that they have only one thing. But I'll worry about that later. So 8 things worth. Auto split, please. So once we get the control circuits, we'll be able to get this. And the generator controller and the liquid heat exchangers. The liquid heat... iridium. Oh man, that is kind of annoying. Iridium's not too bad though, at least. We do have quite a bit of it, so it's not like the end of the world, but I really wish I didn't have to use too much. So we need 4 of these. Alright, let's see if we can't make most of the stuff. Let's also make sure we can make more of this stuff. So there is a bunch. And yeah, so I think making this manually is not going to be too bad. Go ahead and get all of this stuff cooking up. And we'll come back to that later. Okay. So let's get rid of a bunch of things. Tungsten can go in there. Sulfur, dirt, brass plate. Okay. So, with that taken care of, we're going to need... I don't know how many thermal evaporation blocks we're going to need. So let's just make the controller first. So we're going to need a liquid heat exchanger. And for that, we're going to need universal cells. Should not be too bad. We're going to need iron item casings. So we're also going to need some iron plates. Just one. And heat conductor. That's easy enough. So once we have the tin plates and the iron plates, eventually I'll go set up the... I'll set up all the IC2 stuff. That's just kind of a pain. Also, I was making some more storage cells because why not? It's good to have those. But let's go ahead and get metal former, all this stuff. I do have extra universal cells, I think. So I don't need to actually make anything there. But let's go ahead and get the liquid heat exchanger. Let's go ahead and do that manually. So it doesn't like it for some reason. It does not like it for some reason. All right. That is really weird. That is really weird. What is the other thing? We need a generator controller from Deep Resonance. Now that's a mod I didn't get into at all. It does require a machine frame from Deep Resonance. Everything else we have. And then the machine frame requires electrical steel, plutonium, and ew. Yeah, that's why I didn't get into it. And then a machine chassis. So we're going to need 4 electrical steel. So let's go ahead and tell the system to start making that. And I'm going to really regret this, but we need a piece of plutonium. Ow. This hurts. And it's going to hurt for a very long time. Oh, man. Apologies for this, but I had to. Oh, and I only grabbed one. Okay, do we have a bucket? We're going to get a bucket of milk. Actually, that doesn't work. Alright, let's go get some more. This is really annoying. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just put on the suit. I hate putting on this suit. But we're irradiated, and that's not good. It's for another 2 minutes, too. So you know what? This is going to take some time for me to prepare and all that kind of stuff. So we didn't get much done today. Yeah, you know what? No, we're not going to end it here. I will come back once this has worn off. So I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I took care of that. Oh, man. That's something that I always want to just kind of like grab the plutonium, the radioactive stuff, and move it. But that radiation poisoning is so annoying. It shakes the screen so much. Anyways, there is a bit of plutonium in the system now. I also went ahead and grabbed the machine chassis. And the liquid heat exchanger actually ended up crafting. I don't know why, but these two won't even stack with the other universal cells. So I have no idea what happened there. But we have the liquid heat exchanger, so that is one step. I also took a moment to look up how to make the thermal evaporation plant, is what it's known as. So let's go ahead and continue working on this. The machine frame, we're also going to need resonating plates. And to get these, it looks like we just need the resonating ore smelted up. We have a ton of this stuff, so this should not be too difficult. This is also almost done, so we'll just wait on this. And something else, I'm gonna try to do this between this episode and next. I'm gonna force myself to do it, but really need to get down to finishing up all the automation, so all the systems in our town, in our network, in the applied energistic stuff works. Because I was waiting on the ME storage cells because I didn't have enough redstone ingots, because I haven't set up the automation for a calculator. So I need to kind of go through and make sure that all of the applied energistic automation is set up and running before too long. Just because it's going to be super annoying if I don't. Anyways, there is that. We should be able to make this guy now. After we make... we had the tiny piles, not the full piles. Luckily, being in the inventory doesn't radiate you. But there is the machine frame from Deep Resonance. And then that makes the generator controller. And then all we need now is the thermal evaporation things. And we're going to make 20 of these for now. And then we'll see what we need. So there is the controller. We're going to need 2 valves. And then we're going to need 16. Let's get like 32. Let's get 64. We're actually missing chrome. Ugh. All right, let's get 24 more. And see what that's going to require. So the thermal evaporation plant, there's 2 actual ways you can do things with this. And I think what we're actually going to do is we're going to set them up down here. And I will cut off the building. This will be outdoors, maybe. How many blocks we have? Let's go grab some temple blocks, I think. Yeah, that'll work. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. And we're going to have 8. So that leaves us with 5. That is really awkward. Oh, man. Unfortunately, these machines are 4x4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, that doesn't look too bad. It is going to be centered at least, sort of. But we're not going to want both of these right now. So, there is 2 forms of the thermal evaporation plants. And yeah, the simple form is quite simple, actually. And I think what we'll want to do is something like this. So the simple form is just a few things, and it actually tells you a little bit about it. But we're going to make 2 of these so that we can make brine and turn the brine into lithium. That is the only 2 recipes it actually has. Now the thermal evaporation plant has 2 options. We can either let it be completely passive, which would depend on the temperature of the biome, which we're not in a particularly hot biome, but it's also not like a cold biome. So I don't know how well that will actually work. Or, and this is a big or, we add 4 advanced solar generators to it. Now these things are not that expensive. They do require a block of steel, photovoltaic cells, cadmium plates, which we have all this stuff. It's pretty expensive, but we're going to need to make the solar generators at some point anyways. And so automating it now might not be a bad idea. But we're going to need like 1 more of these, aren't we? 1, 2, 3. We're going to need 5 more. Okay, let's see if we can make that. I don't know if we can or not, because I don't know if we have enough stainless steel. So, thermal. Okay, we can. So, yeah, we're going to want to automate that, and I think that's going to be the next thing we do. We're also going to want some solar neutron activators. That's going to be kind of annoying. We'll need some HDPE sheets. We're going to have to start working through Mekanism and getting a lot of the Mekanism stuff done. So, if we want this to be outside, we're probably going to cut off the building, maybe right here. And then we can have some other stuff, and we'll have a door out here somewhere, and then have these plants. I do want to still have the marble, though, because it's going to look nicer to have like an open air, but it's like a concrete floor type of thing. In this case, obviously marble, but you get the idea. So it's making stainless steel plates. Should be done in just a second. And then we will have our thermal plant. And we can make a second one of these, or we could not. We could just do some other stuff. I don't know what's going to be the best. I'm going to kind of think about it. Hey, it did a thing. So the temperature is 3,000. Yeah, it's going to be really, 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 really slow because it's not very hot. It's going to like conduct the electricity, but if we put water in there, it would take it forever. So I think what we're going to end up doing is making the advanced version, which requires the solar generators. And it requires the advanced ones. That being said, I think we can make brine a different way. So if we look at this, it's used to make lithium, and that's kind of the big thing we want. We can get brine if we just use a rotary condensator with the gaseous brine. And these things are not awful to make. The basic gas tank and the basic fluid tank are both really easy. The energy tablet's the only thing that's really annoying, but we might have that automated. RE batteries, a lot of the stuff, I need to also make sure that all of the industrial craft stuff is also automated. But yeah, so that wouldn't be too bad. And then we would just need gaseous brine, which is salt and a chemical oxidizer. And that is also not too terrible to make. It does require a bit of steel. A dynamic tank is some more steel, but this is not that difficult to make. And we're going to want a few of those so that we can make sulfur dioxide, I think, as well as the gaseous brine. So I think that's what we'll end up doing, is just using one of these. So we're not going to make too much more of this. But that is unfortunately going to be all for today. By the way, you can make this a lot taller. I think you can go up like 8 layers. I'm not entirely sure the exact number, but you can go up quite a bit. And what's Fahrenheit? I know Fahrenheit, 90 degrees. Yeah, that's not really that great. But yeah, so I think that'll be the plan for Mekanism. Is we'll set up the system to make the gaseous brine, and it's going to be easier. We can go pretty tall with this, store a lot of the brine. We'll just need to get a good supply of salt, and that shouldn't be too difficult. Getting salt blocks should not be terrible. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that we can find salt in some water pools. In fact, I think this is, yeah, there's some salt right here. So you can find it pretty easily. It's pretty common. It's just a matter of going and finding it. So it'll be a little bit more manual than if we just set up 2 of the thermal evaporation plants, but it'll be easier in the long run, I think. Just because these things are relatively expensive, and the rest of the stuff isn't. So that'll be the plan. And yeah, next time, once I get a lot of the applied logistics stuff set up, all the automation, things will go a little bit smoother, and then we can start working on getting like storage finished up and storage buses and making the applied logistics system good. That is the dream. But yeah, so next time we'll probably continue working with this stuff, start automating the solar generators, and maybe even getting our first bit of deuterium. So that's going to be it for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!